Wings up, family. Wings up.
Wings up.
Happy Thursday. Wings up, wings up, wings up.
Yes. Happy
Wings up.
Thursday.
We are back at it. We're back at it. We're back in the dungeon, right? Back in the laboratory, guys. So glad to see you. Hopefully, everyone is doing well today. We are going to go ahead and get started. I'm so glad to see each and every one of you all on the call on today. Listen, just real quick, I just want to do I haven't done this in a while, but if you guys don't mind, just take your mics off of mute for a second, and I just want to hear exactly where you calling from and where you tuning in from, just so others can hear that we've got people all over the U.S. and over the world. And I know everyone is not on this call, but just shout out where you calling from.
Houston,
Aloha, this is
Texas.
Kaya from Hawaii. Wings
Aloha.
up.
Eva from Houston.
Hey, Eva. Hey, Kaya.
Bennington,
Hi.
North Carolina.
Hey, Benny.
Hi, Eva.
Middle of the map in Ohio.
The middle of the map, Ohio.
I
Atlanta.
like that.
Who's that calling from Atlanta?
That's me, Yolanda.
Hey, Yolanda. Alana from the ATL. Good to have you, Yolanda.
Thank you.
Melinda from Fort Pierce, Florida.
Melinda from Florida. I told you guys all the cool people come from where? Florida.
Florida.
Told you, huh?
Slow down, slow down.
I'm a transplant here, though, so I'm really from Montana.
Yeah, me too, but we live here now. So all the cool people come from Melinda. Comes from Florida, Melinda.
All right.
I see
The
Louise.
Littles calling from Alabama.
Hey, let's see you from Alabama. Good to have you on the call again today. And I see Zena. Zena, where are you calling from, Zena?
I'm in Spring Hill, Florida. I'm a transplant as well.
You're in Spring Hill, Florida. Listen, I started off in Spring Hill, Florida. When I first moved to Florida, that's where I started off at.
I was there too.
Yeah.
I love it here.
Good. Once again, all the cool
Lewis
people
from Chicago.
Chi-Town, Lewis from
Chi-Town.
Chi-Town.
Let's go.
All right. Good to have you on the call, Lewis. And of course, we got Thurman on here. Thurman, good to have you, Thurman. Okay, so guys, let's go ahead and get started. I just wanted to do a small roll call. I know we've got people from all over. Some people are not on this call, but that's fine. But we're going to get started on talking about our time management and pipeline discipline. Hey, Malik, I see you on the call, brother. Good to see you on the call.
Recording in progress.
If you guys can just go on mute, make sure that your phones are back on mute. Thank you. Appreciate it. But as it relates to time management and pipeline discipline, I wanted to make sure that we cover this. We've covered this a little bit before in the past on time management. But listen, let me just say this to you. As professionals in sales, one of the worst things that we could be bad at in sales is time management. Would you guys agree? It's probably one of the worst.
I agree.
That's right. It's one of the worst things that we can have not grabbed hold of is our time management. Okay, why? Because one of the things that I've realized is that as salespeople or people that's in sales, typically a lot of times our brain is just like all over the place, right? We've got this project going on. We want this deal. We've got these things going on. And a lot of times, because we are in our creative thought process and our creative thinking era, that sometimes our time management goes unkept. Would you guys agree to that? And we find ourselves just kind of being all over the place. And sometimes when you're all over the place, you get nothing done because there's not a good balance there. So it's kryptonite to people that's in a sales arena to not have time management as a focal point, and as well as pipeline discipline. Well, we know that in sales, that is all about pipeline. Pipeline growth is what gives us our income. Okay, so we don't chase deals. All of your top level professionals in sales don't chase deals. What we do is we chase pipeline growth. We want to make sure that we keep feeding the pipeline because we understand that this is a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game, okay? Anytime in any particular type of sales that you may be in, just remember, it's all a number games. You could be successful in any type of sales arena that you seek after, as long as you play the numbers game. And you have to do that in a time managed fashion, okay? Which means there's things that you have to do so you don't waste your time, so you can be productive, you can be successful. Listen, time is money. Time is money, right? You all heard that before, that time is money. But whose time are you spending? Whose time are you spending? See, we're not just to manage time. We're supposed to own our time. Okay, we're supposed to own our time. And if we want more results, or more revenue and more freedom, we have to be better stewards of our time. We need to have better habits and better systems in place that's going to allow us to be fruitful and utilize and maximize our time wisely. Okay, so time is money. You know, one of the things that I found out is that people that don't understand and don't value their time end up wasting their time. When you don't put a value on your time, you end up wasting your time. And when you are around others that don't have a value on their time, they will waste their time and yours. Okay? So time management is very important because with or without it being managed, time is going to go by. Everybody, if you're lucky enough, everyone gets the same amount of time in a day. We all get 24 hours a day. If you're blessed to see, another day, it's going to be 24 hours in that day. You have to allocate that time wisely. What are you going to do in that 24 hours? How do you break that down? You have to have time for rest. You have to have time for family. You have to have time for work. You have to have time for travel. You have to have time for, your religious practices. You have to have time for meditation. You have to be able to allocate your time properly. Okay? So prioritizing high value activities that lead to revenues, this is what your top professionals and your top producers master. This is what your top producers live by. They live by what's called HVAs. Okay, these are high value activities. And so, what are high value activities? And these are just basically actions that directly contribute to your revenue. These are actions that contribute to your growth. These are actions that top professionals specialize in that contributes to their performance goals. Okay, these are the needle movers, for lack of better words, in sales. These are the things that top professionals in sales. These are the things that produce and build pipelines, and these are the things that closes the gaps of the efforts that people put in sales, and they have, these are the things that top professionals look at. They look at the HVAs, which is what? Like prospecting new clients. High value activities. What type of activities? Prospecting new clients. Prospecting for new clients, right? That's like research in industries, things like that. Finding decision makers. Looking on places like LinkedIn and identifying businesses that meet your ICPs or the ideal client profile. You guys remember we talked about ICPs in training, the ideal client profiles, right? This is what you're looking for. You're looking for the ideal client profile. So the example of an HVA or a high value activity Number one is prospecting for new clients. Secondly, it's qualifying leads. Okay, qualifying leads. Basically, all that means is that it's just determining if a lead has the budget, if the lead has the authority, if that lead, has the need, and there's a timeline on that. These are the things that you want to look for with qualifying the lead and asking direct questions on discovery calls like, what's your budget allocation for this problem? These are examples of HVAs, high value activities, follow-ups. Okay, you have to have follow-ups. So not only are you looking for prospecting for new clients and you're setting your time to prospect for these clients and you're setting aside time to determine qualifying leads, but you also have to set aside time for your follow-ups. 80% of sales happen. Did you guys know this? 80% of sales happen after the fifth follow-up. 80% of your sales happens after the fifth follow-up. This is why it's important to schedule consistent follow-up emails or calls using our CRM or using things like, just your email, your HubSpot. We have our own CRM, but just scheduling these consistent follow-up emails or calls, because 80% of those sales happen after the fifth follow-up. A lot of times we give up after the first and second try, and we don't hear anything back from that decision maker. We don't hear anything back from the company, and we give up. Well, the goal here is to get them on the line. So you have to keep trying and keep being persistent and just keep sending out consistent follow-up emails and, using these tactics that your top performers use. 80% of these sales happen after the fifth follow-up, which means you have to keep following up. Another HVA is closing the deals, okay? High-value activities, closing the deals. This is what top performers do. These activities of high performers, they're prospecting for new clients. They're qualifying leads. They're spending time following up. They're spending time closing deals, asking for the sale, handling objections, and getting commitments. They're spending time upselling current customers. They're spending time building referrals and partnerships. Okay, so these HVAs are the activities that your high performers and your top performers practice. Okay, but what we do a lot of times is we'll fall into a trap of time wasting. We fall into a trap of time wasting. What? Reading emails all day, over planning, consuming instead of creating. Instead of being in our creative juices, we're busy consuming. Here's a good one: responding to low priority requests. Responding to low priority requests. Well, sometimes we spend our times responding to low priority requests. That's not good, right? We need to prioritize our time with high priority requests. We need to allocate our time reading emails that matter, not over planning, using a structured system. We need to spend our time creating and not consuming. But this is what time wasters do: scrolling through social media, on phone calls with people that, not empowering you, not making anything better in terms of your sales, your goals, your day, your business, not prospering you in any type of way. We're spending time shopping and being a consumer instead of creating different avenues and different ways to penetrate the market. High value individuals prioritize differently. They don't believe in wasting time and allowing people to waste your time. You cannot be on the phone with people that's reading emails all day, is on social media all day, that's got all the gossip, that has all the latest news. You're planning for success. You're trying to win. You're trying to accomplish goals. You're setting out to do things that other people won't do so you can have things that other people don't have. And that's going to take intense focus. And that's going to take balancing out your time properly and not allowing your time to be wasted by yourself or others. You have to use the Pareto principle. There's a gentleman by the name of Vilfredo Pareto. Back in the early 1800s, he came up with a rule called the 80-20 rules. He was an Italian economist. He came up with the 80-20 rule. I know some of you all remember the 80-20 rule. He observed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. So he came up with this principle that he would apply to business and economics and life. And so the theory is that 80% of sales comes from 20% of clients. The theory also is that 80% of complaints come from 20% of customers. 80% of revenue comes from 20% of products or services. 80% of productivity comes from 20% of activities. This is called the 80-20 rule. And Mr. Pareto thought of this rule and he implemented this into the sales force, which to this day, I know some of you all that's been in sales for so long talks about the 80-20 rule all the time. With the 80-20 rule, you should identify and focus on 20% of the task. That does what? That produce the most value. You should focus on 20% of the task that moves the needle towards your goal. You should focus on 20% of the task that gives the highest return of your time. This is the 80-20 rule. Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist, came up with this rule in the 1800s, the late 1800s. Okay? 80% of your sales is going to come from 20% of your clients. So 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your activities. Your job is to identify and to do more of the 20%. So when you're balancing out your time, sometimes we're wasting time on that 80% when all you need is that 20%. Focus on the 20% of what's working. Focus on that 20%. Don't focus on things that's not working. This is the 80-20 rule. 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of your activities. Okay? So you have to think about what are those activities. How top performers use the 80-20% rule. I'm sorry, the 80-20 rule. Okay? I protect my energy and focus on 20%, on the 20% that creates 80% of my success. You have to protect your energy and focus on the 20% that creates the 80% of your success. So how does top performers use this 80-20 rule? How do they use it? They audit their time weekly. Why? So they can find low value time wasters within their circle or within their practices. They prioritize tasks that generates money, impact, and momentum. Top performers use this 80-20 rule to delegate and to eliminate the 80% of tasks that don't move the business forward. And they also use power hours. So 60 minutes to 90 minutes daily focuses on 20% of the activities, calling out, emails. You have to set aside these power hours. Okay? Time blocking. You have to block off time. You have to block off the time. Are y'all with me? So time blocking. Block off time each day for what? Prospecting. Following up. Meetings and administrative things. Most of the stuff that people in our industry hate doing. You know, salespeople just want to sell. They just want to sell. But your good salespeople are able to sell and manage their time properly. We've got some top sales professionals on this call right now, and I know you guys know what I'm speaking of. You have to time block, which means you have to allocate special hours for your high value activities, for your HVAs. Okay. For example, 9 o'clock to 11 a.m. is your power hour. This is the time where you're prospecting only, or where there's no distractions. You got your cell phone down, your internet, your Facebook, all your social media pages. You're in your office. You're not playing with the kids. You're not doing anything. But between this hour is your power hour. This is where you block out time to make outbound calls or emails and DMs. Okay. You got to have things like what they used to call back in my day, my sales days, they would call them theme days. Theme days. Monday, it's prospecting day. Tuesday, it's follow-up day. Wednesday, it's demonstrates or demo days. Okay. Energy management. Know when you're most alert. Do your creative and high stakes, do creative or high stakes work at that point. When you're at your highest alert, that's when you want to do your most creative thinking and your creative work and your high stakes work at that point. Manage that energy. Don't allow people to come and break that energy. Understand that in our role, energy is everything. Energy is everything. You have to have the right energy, the right frequency, and the right mindset to accomplish the goals that we're seeking out to accomplish. And isn't it funny how you go out and you seek out these things, and then it seems like people come and try to, take you off your square? Or things in life happens and it takes you off of your square. And it takes you away from the energy that you had. You were geeked up. You was ready to go. You were excited about G2. You're excited about what you're doing. And boom, something happened. Life starts to happen. This is why you have to protect your energy. Every day you have to get up and say, I protect my time. I protect my space. I protect my peace. My energy is my currency, and I invested only in things that move me closer to my mission. I protect my time. I protect my space. I protect my peace, because you're on a mission. So you have to block out these times, and you have to stay focused, because other people's situations will take you off of your mission. I talk to a lot of you all individually on our team all the time, and I know that life is life, and for a lot of you all, for everybody. Okay, for everybody. So how are you going to stay above your circumstance? By creating positive energy, making sure that you have positive energy. If you don't, it's going to affect your production. If you allow life to life and it takes a toll on you and takes your positive energy away, it's going to steal your peace. It's going to steal your time. It's going to steal your space. It's going to steal your mental your mindset. So you have to set time aside so you can protect your peace. Start your day out with purpose. Some people get up really early in the morning, start off with prayer. They start with working out. He starts out with affirmations. Starts out with 15 minutes a day reading. One of the things that I do is I go out, on my patio, and I'll take some time out to start reading my book first thing in the morning. I have a meditation time every morning. And I go out and I sit there and I think and I read and I plan out my day. Why? So I can be in the right frequency and in the right mindset. So this is what top producers do. Top producers plan their time. They designate 60 minutes to 90 minutes for deep work. No distractions, no multitasking. Focus. Ask yourself, if I only accomplish 3 things today that drives results, what should they be? Listen, John Maxwell says, you would never change your life. You would never change your life until you change something you do daily. You would never change your life until you change something that you do daily. You want to be successful, you want to be a top performer, you got to do what top performers and successful people do. If you're not putting in the work and you're not putting in the practice and you don't have a daily routine and you're not learning how to plan out your day and strategize and grow your pipeline like successful top producers do, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. It's not just going to happen. It's work that has to be done. Faith without works is dead. Okay? So you have to create a structure to reduce burnout and boost performance. As I stated, protect your energy. Start your day with purpose. Have a positive morning routine when you wake up in the morning. What's your routine before you get started? When you get out of bed and you get your mind together, what are you doing first? Are you going to see what's happening in the news? Are you seeing who's calling you? You're checking your text message. You're trying to see what was the latest gossip. What are you doing first? How are you starting off your day? If you're not starting off your morning in a powerful manner and with a powerful routine of meditation and prayer and thought, then the rest of your day is not going to be guarded with safe energy. You have to prepare yourself because as the day goes on, things will happen. People will come and dump on you. They will come and tell you about all the things that they've got going on in their life. Situations will pop up that's going to challenge your faith. That's going to challenge what you're doing. Protect your energy. Schedule your time the way you schedule a meeting with your best client. Schedule you time. Schedule some you time. I like to go to the pool. Everybody don't have a pool, but I like to go in the pool and sit out and read or take a swim. You have to create a sustainable calendar, something that you can actually manage. Avoid those back-to-back meetings. Leave white space for creative thinking and handling unexpected issues. You got to leave some space on your calendar. You have to learn how to manage your calendar. I use my calendar on a regular basis now. I remember a time when I didn't. I didn't use a calendar. But when I started getting into the practice of using a calendar, it helped me out so much because it allowed me to keep track of what I was doing and keep a balance. And so I wasn't overbooking myself. Listen, take real breaks. Your brain needs them so it can recharge. You have to take a real break. Go out in the sun. If you're anywhere in the sun, go out in it and spend some time out there. But you have to take mental breaks. You have to find out, how do you get a mental break? Whatever your situation is, whatever your circumstance is, how do you get a mental break? How do you take a break from your reality? How do you take a break from your stresses? How do you take a break from life challenges? You have to create a structure to reduce burnout and boost your performance. Okay? So here's some things that you can do. You can create a weekly ritual. All right? Create a weekly ritual. When you ask yourself, this is self-assessment. What did I accomplish? What drained me? What needs to be changed? Weekly assessments. I ask you guys on the calls all the time. You know, you guys remember and recall, I ask all the time, hey, is there anything that I'm doing that needs to be changed? Am I doing, anything that I could do better? Please tell me. I'm not perfect. Is there anything that our organization is doing? Is there something that we're missing that we possibly don't see? This is self-assessment. And you have to do that same thing for yourself. Where are we dropping the ball at? You have to know when you're burnt out. When you're busy but not making money. We used to call that busy doing nothing. You're busy, but you're not making money. You hate looking at your to-do list. These are signs of your burnout. You feel reactive and not strategic. You got to be proactive. Right? So rebuild structure. Less chaos equals more clarity. Less chaos also equals more productivity too. So balancing out your sales pipeline, is the hunters versus the planters. Okay, are you a hunter or are you a planter? What are you? Hunters. They're outbound, aggressive, lead generators. Hunters thrive on short-term wins. Okay. Hunters thrive on when cold calling, prospecting, closing these, closing now. These are the hunters' behavior. But then you have planters that nourish relationships. They thrive on long-term strategies. They tap into their warm leads and referrals and networking. This is what you have to do as global compliance agents. You have to be nurturers of those relationships. Thrive on long-term. Let's build long-term relationships. We don't want short-term relationships. We want long-term relationships. We don't want short-term wins. We want long-term strategies. So balance your sales pipeline by identifying number one of you're a hunter or you're a planter. Why do you need both? So balancing your sales pipeline, why do you need both? Because if you only hunt, you burn out. If you only hunt, you're going to hit a famine. Okay, if you only hunt. This is what we talked about when we spoke on transactional sales type people. Transactional salespeople, they're just focused on the transaction. They're not focused on the long-term relationship building. They're focused on that transaction. They're not focused on being a consultant or being consultative. But if you plant, you're waiting for forever type results. See, hunters, they're bold, they're high energy. They're closers who thrive on the thrill of the chase. They thrive on that. They thrive on the thrill of that chase. They focus on speed and volume and aggression. Right? Hunters, you know, these are outbound lead generations. These are the habits that hunters have. Outbound lead type generations, cold calls, email blasts, LinkedIn. Immediate conversion. They're looking for immediate conversions. They're competing for daily and weekly wins. These are the hunters. A hunter cold calls about 50 leads every morning and close 2 new demos daily. They're relentless and reward driven. Planters play the long-term game. And I'm not saying anything's not wrong with being a hunter, but you want to play the long-term game. You want these clients to stick with you. The planters got long-term strategies. They nurture relationships. They focus on trust building. They focus on building their community and their education to their client and making sure they're educated about what they're doing. Planters build referral pipelines. They focus on training and webinars and workshops. They engage in relationship-based networking. A planter hosts monthly Zoom calls and briefings and sends value package newsletters to contacts all over. So you spend 30% to 40% of your week hunting. You spend 30% to 40% planting and nurturing. You have to leave time for servicing clients, admins, and self-growth. If you spend 30 to 40% of your week hunting, you can spend 30 to 40% planting. Then you have to leave time for servicing these clients and doing the administration work. But you have to set this time aside without distractions. You can't multitask. You have to set this time and say, for the next hour and an hour and a half, I'm doing nothing but touching bases with these C-level executives. I'm sending out emails. I'm calling, you know, and I'm making contact. I'm not going to be on social media. I'm not going to talk to my kids. I'm not talking to anybody for the next hour and a half. I'm not talking to my friends, my coworkers. For another hour and a half, I have to be focused on building my pipeline and managing my time. And if you do that every day, every day, you will find yourself prospering at an alarming rate. Because why? 80% of the sales come from 20% of your clients. %80 of your productivity comes from 20% of your activities. So here's some practical tools and hacks, okay? You guys know this. Use things like Google Calendar, Trello, Asana, Notion for task tracking. Those are just some different tasks. But we have things already set up for you in our CRM that you can use. Use Calendly. I don't know if you guys use that or not, but I do. Some hacks for success is use the Pomodoro techniques. Pomodoro techniques to reduce back and forth scheduling. Create a not to-do list. Eliminate the time wasters. Schedule CEO time weekly. Time to work on your business, not just in it. Okay, that's your CEO time. Time to work in your business. I don't get a break. I have to keep working in my business daily. Okay? I have to keep working daily. When others are asleep, I'm up in the middle of the night at 2 or 3 in the morning in my office working and putting together plans and putting together presentations and putting together things that's going to make our team and our G2 Global family successful. So you have to protect your space, protect your energy, team. Manage your pipeline, manage your time. Schedule time like it's a meeting with a CEO. Schedule your time, add your calendar blocks, do call blitz, proposal writing. Have power hours. You have to set activity targets. I'm going to make 50 calls a day. I'm going to do 20 DMs. I'm going to have 5 book demos. What is your goal daily? Create urgency. Let's solve this issue right now and not next quarter. We have a solution for you right now. Let's get this solved for you now. Okay? We got to track everything, right? Stay energized. Move fast and celebrate your wins. Celebrate the wins. We're about to have a blast on this team, guys. We're going to have a blast. And a lot of people are going to reach some levels of success that they've never reached before, and they're going to do that by way of G2 Global Network. Okay? Here's your action challenge. What high-value activity will you double down on this week? What are you going to do differently after this training and after this conversation that we just had today? What are you going to practice different this week? Are you going to implement the 80-20 rule? Are you going to implement this rule? The Pareto principle, right? What's the one distraction or low value task you're going to eliminate? Everybody knows, you know what your distraction is daily. What's your one distraction daily that you suffer with that keeps you distracted? What's the distraction that you're going to eliminate this week? Who are you not going to talk to on the phone early in the morning that's just pulling on you? Don't you guys hate those phone calls and people say, hey, what you doing? When you're working real hard, hey, I'm just calling, I'm just, I'm not doing anything. And they say things like, I'm not doing nothing. And you're grinding, you're in your thought process and in your creative juices, and people are calling you like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just, I'm at the store. I'm here, or I'm doing this. That takes away from your energy if you allow it. So a lot of times what I do, I just don't answer the phone. If I know that I'm in an energy place, in a high frequency place, and I'm trying to stay there, and I see certain phone calls that come across my phone that I know that's possibly going to drain me, I can't answer. So what are you going to do? What distraction or low value task will you eliminate this week? One change to your calendar or workflow you'll implement. What change will you implement immediately? What's your biggest time traps? Are you more of a hunter or a planter? What's the one habit you'll commit to building? Okay, these are your action challenges. What's your biggest time trap? Think about that. Something's trapping your time where you're not allocating. You could be giving your energy to all the wrong stuff. A lot of times we give our energy to the things that's messed up in our life. We give our energy to the things that has us stressing because we don't have an immediate answer for it right now. It becomes a time trap. You have to do, and I said I was going to talk about this on one of our trainings one time, is that we're going to talk about energy conversion. You have to learn how to convert energy. All that negative energy and all the negative things that's happening in your circle and your surroundings, you have to learn how to convert that energy into positive energy. It's called energy conversion. You have to learn how to take all of that stressful energy and turn it into fuel. Turn it into gasoline. Turn it into the very thing that's going to empower you to go to your next, to go higher. Okay? So these are some of the things that you have to practice as a professional. Get rid of those time traps. Get rid of those time traps. Okay? Remember, mastering time management and maintaining pipeline discipline isn't just about staying organized. It's about creating momentum, building trust, and driving consistent success. Family, stay focused, stay disciplined, and the results will follow you. Stay focused and stay disciplined. Okay? Wings up, family. Wings up. We're talking about time management and pipeline growth. Okay? Protecting your energy. Stay focused and stay disciplined. Every day. Every day. You have to do something that's going to help you to stay disciplined and to stay focused. Wing up. Listen, we got it. We got it. We got this. We got this as a company. We got this as a team. And you have this as an individual. We're not going to allow anything and nothing to overcome us, to stop us. Nothing. Okay? Wings up. Remember the ego. Remember the ego. The ego loves the storm. The ego loves the storm because when the storm comes, it allows the wind to elevate them. They like to stretch their wings so the wind can get beneath their wings and give them more altitude. So they use the storm to get altitude. You have to use the storm to get your altitude, to go higher. Instead of looking at it to pin you down and get you in a bad place, you got to use everything that you're going through right now as wind to be underneath your wings. And you use the things like the leverage of G2 Global Network and your relationships to get you to the place where you're going next. We're all working on our next, okay? And this is where we're going, okay? So listen, once again, I'm glad you all are on the team. I'm glad you guys are part of the family. We're all working on our next, and you work on your next. You make sure that you're ready to go to this next place. All of you all are I believe that you're going to produce high numbers. And I believe that you're going to produce well. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see. Listen, I was telling Malik one day, and Malik was telling me, said, man, so I'm excited about our team. I'm excited about the people that's on our team. And Malik will tell you he's on the call right now. What did I say, Malik? I said, Malik, I'm excited about seeing the number of lives that's going to be changed.
That's right.
Right? And then when I said, Malik?
That's correct.
I'm excited about seeing the number of lives that's going to be changed. That's what gets me going. By knowing that your life is about to change, by being part of our G2 Global Network. You're part of a good family. You're part of a good network with good people. Keep our family nice and tight, okay? Keep the family nice and tight, and we're going to go higher, okay? We're going to keep going and keep growing. All right, listen, that's my training for today. Wings up, guys. Wings up. Keep up that energy. Keep up the focus, and keep up the good work, man. Y'all just keep on growing and keep on keeping that knowledge and that energy in the right spot and in the right place, guys. Don't let things get you down. I know we're going through things in life, but don't allow it to get you out of shape, okay? Don't let it get you out of shape. Get your keep your focus and make sure that you have a plan. Problems are just unanswered issues that you haven't put a solution to yet. But it's always a solution. Okay, it's always a solution. All right, wings up. That is my training. Any questions about today? Any questions at all?
No, just appreciating you, Mo. You be bringing it, and it's timely. I appreciate that.
You're absolutely welcome, Evil. I appreciate you. Glad you're part of our family, okay?
Happy to be here.
Good training, Mo. Good training.
Yes,
Thank you, Benny.
Thank you, Mo.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Mo.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all too, okay? Appreciate you all too. And
We got training tomorrow.
we got training tomorrow. It's for the commercial lending course. This is like tomorrow's not the last class, it's the second to the last one for tomorrow. Okay, so there is a commercial lending class for tomorrow, same time.
Cool.
All right, so get ready. I'm gonna torture y'all a little bit tomorrow. Just for fun.
Go for it.
Is that for compliance too?
No, that's for people on the commercial side, commercial lending.
So we don't have a Friday meeting then?
No, there's no, you don't have.
Okay,
That's for commercial lending.
perfect.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, you're absolutely welcome, guys. I will see you all. If there's nothing else, I will see you guys at the top and get prepared for next week's training. Wings up, y'all. Thank you for showing up.
Okay, thank you.
Wings up, everybody.
Bye,
Have a good one.
Father.
Wings up.